Hello everyone, my name is Mitz. Here we are with, I'm assuming, is the finale of this installment of Higurashi When They Cry. And there's a lot of interesting things of last time, both in the events preceding of this specific chapter, and the tip section as well. With a long string of the main character, Akasaka, literally trying to find a phone call just to tell his wife that he's coming home, and that he's fine, and they're not calling her for a few days straight. He runs into Rika, and they go to the shrine, and she tells him, basically verbatim, all the murders are going to happen every year on the day they launch the Ganashi Festival, going down to exactly who the victims are, how they die, but every time when the festival for where Keiichi arrives comes, that was the one, she says, she has no idea how it's going to end up. And that is the most fascinating thing ever. Because unless there's some weird thing of like Rika like found out from some other person who's planning to kill people way in advance, or was for the damn construction project or not. No, she sounded completely sure of the fact that the damn construction project was going to end sooner. Then she knows that some people already have planned out victims years in advance, and she feels she can't stop it at all, or literally just she's just divine and like knows all the effects that happen later on, but is accepting the fact there might be small deviations here and there. In the tips section of these new ones of A Mother's Diary, it labels all out that every thematic tip with the gears with a clock, a rainy day, and etc., the box, the red and blue, it all seems to be coming from maybe the perspective of Rika herself, both from the fact of it talks a bit about the same music, which is only used in that tip only, and those tips only appears again in the diary. And Rika's mom is a terrible person, by the way. For a person who feels like she doesn't understand her daughter's perspective, like she says it numerous times, she feels like she puts a lot of understanding in how she feels as her daughter acts. There's even a line of like even doubting if she has divine abilities or not, but based on the fact Rika's mom like scolds Rika, both of them literally just some elders like like revering her from the incarnation of Oyashiro-sama like in her daughter, which she knew about before she even decided to have kids, even before she even grew up in this town. She had every chance to know like this is gonna inevitably gonna happen, and even the fact like it seems like there's one line in there of her doubting that Rika has divine powers. Like for example, she said she had like a lot of conversations with Rika about the weather for the day as a small example, but every time she went without an umbrella or anything like that, she gets soaking wet. But if we're going with the whole thing of I guess the hitting your child and scolding her for literally just being around the elders to revere her, I can only imagine as Rika like purposely telling her wrong if she knew ahead of time she knew how divination will work, especially since it's been said in her own mother's diary several times. That, or literally just based on some recollection how the mother wrote down, it's all completely unreliable. And it's all still again wishy-washy, but it does corroborate the fact that Rika does know things ahead of time, and that's the weirdest part of this all. And it's gonna be intriguing to see exactly how does she even know about all this stuff? Since like there's recollections of maybe like both literally on this end she acts like this normally, and also possession wise as well, literally numerous times. Honestly, it's always so strange. It's always part and parcel. Oh, this is where the text comes up in the beginning. It was an accident that happened in such a small village that anyone could forget. One day after the tragedy had come to a close, just as the scars had begun to heal, a young man thinks nostalgically of the little girl he once met. The words he couldn't ask that day, the promise he couldn't fulfill that day, those regrets and lamentations opened the fate that was sealed and become a single hope. Himatsubushi. Are we actually only halfway through, or no, this is just the ending of it? Fate isn't only about happiness, but there is no one that would wish for unhappiness. I mean, I would think, again, Midsummer 1985, they're going back in the future, but yeah, that's the one thing. I will, like, it's one thing of like I'm being like just accepting the circumstances you're dealt, but if I find out that there was some god or like some other person who literally controls circumstances, so I can be in this like part of my life where I'm utterly miserable and unhappy, and I find out someone orchestrated that from the beginning, you bet your fucking ass I would be pissed off. You bet I would be. Ugh. Ugh. Papa? Are you there, Papa? Oh, is this your kid? Oh, Miyuki. Huh? Oh. Are you alright? Were you having a scary dream? Miyuki was sitting next to me. I quickly patted her head to hearing her say that. Oh, your kid was next to you the whole time beginning. Oh, no. I must have had a bad dream while sleeping in the cabin. I was sweating profusely. No, it's nothing. I guess there's a little pond here. I tried to wipe away the sweat while answering, and looked around for a handkerchief or towel. And then, a cold drop ran down my forehead. Miyuki turned to me and smiled, then wiped my face with the towel she received to take off. Thanks, Miyuki. Of course. Thanks to her, I was finally able to shake off my slumber, so I got up from the aisle seat and looked out the window. I wrapped my arms around Miyuki in the window seat and listened to the noise as this land and sea blew past us before our eyes. Wow, it's Hokkaido. Hokkaido's so big! And then the plane gently turned before entering the airport runway. Arriving in the lobby, I glanced around, looking for Oishi. Oh, the long, like 7-year-long thing. Oh boy. You had no contact with him. Oh boy, there's a lot that happened in the time. One of his friends got killed by a curse that happened the year next, but I severely miscalculated what year it happened. And that's my fault. I'm not good with figuring out numbers. But you know. I was met with a familiar gruff voice calling out to me. That's the one thing. What kind of incarnation happened in Hinamizawa this time? Akasaka-san! How many years have been? It's been a while, hasn't it? Oishi-san! It really has been a long time. Oishi clapped his hand down on my shoulder, celebrating a union. I misread that as suffering the spine, breaking the spine. My god. Akasaka-san, you're looking pretty good. You look like a bona fide frontline investigator now. You're looking quite dapper yourself. Your posture seems a lot better. Is the ballroom dancing paying off? You should give it a try while you're still young. You'd be a hit with the ladies. A real babe magnet. Okay, that helps, like, shows off, dates it a tiny bit. Chick magnet and all that. Oishi retired and moved to Sapporo. And of all things, had started taking ballroom dancing lessons. Well, I mean, if he has free time, he has free time, right? You know? Yeah. He apparently had gotten really into it. Decided to spend the rest of his new life devoted to that hobby. Oh, nice. He was aiming to get his instructor's qualification before he hit 80, and live out his old age daintily. What do you plan to do after that? Oh? Now, who might this be? Aww, she has sprites. Aww. Oishi suddenly turned his attention to Miyuki, who was sitting idly next to me. He bent down on his knee and looked at her in the face. Don't trust him. Yes, you're the right reaction, child. You're the right reaction. However, my daughter was frightened and hid behind my back. Come on, Miyuki. Please introduce yourself properly. Oh, She's staring at Oishi with a dubious expression while tugging the hem of my shirt. She's usually not as shy. When it's wrong, it's that face, the aura, the countenance. He's part of the curse. Sorry about that. She's usually not like this. Oh, no, it's no problem. This old man just has a scary face. If you don't mind, could you tell me your name? I'm Miyuki Akasaka. I'm 7 years old. Nice to meet you. Great, that was a good introduction. I could no less from Akasaka-san's daughter. Oishi gently stroked Miyuki's head and smiled as though she were his own grandchild. After finally seeing that, Miyuki smiled in relief. Shortly afterwards, Miki told me that she was just doing what I told her to do. Be careful on strangers. No. Only she ever heard that and let a hearty shaking his body while laughing and walking. You know. I let myself into Oishi's car, and we headed out towards the hot spring inn. I had originally intended to crash at Oishi's place, but Oishi was quite obstinate that his home wasn't suitable for that, so it came to this. I don't want any strangers living in my mother's old house. At the inn, we relaxed while soaking in the hot springs, then ate a delicious feast until we were full. Miki had a little of the Mongolian barbecue and was delighted with it. Their bellies were swollen, Miki grew sleepy, and went to bed. Then Oishi and I reminisced about the time we played Mahjong together in Hinamizawa. Man, that just seemed like it was almost like 7 years ago. Technically it was. Yes. It seemed that to celebrate our reunion, Oishi had looked for people who could play. But unable to find a suitable candidate, we had to give up on putting together a table. It's just, what happened to Sato? Did the other person just fall out, or is he also ducking dead? We don't really know his real name, except for, his false name anyway. Oh boy. Well, he's not really acquainted with Oishi from the sound of it anyway, but the old guy, the foreman, yes, was. Oh boy. I wonder, oh my god. I wonder if oh god. Thinking about it, did Akasaka literally just hear all this from Riko and just like, I don't think I believe that. The foreman dies. It must be a coincidence. Next year happens, hears about it. Oh, that's just also a coincidence. Third year? Nah. And just repeat and repeat on repeat until he doesn't bring it up again. Like, I know at some point that it was confidential, so like, the rest of the, nation in the world won't, give him, the town such bad things, but for what murders did happen, became national news, maybe, and news and just in general area. Maybe that really just doesn't look at the news and all that, but I'm pretty sure there'd be a part of me that's really curious or all that weird stuff. It's just weird. It'd be so funny if like he realized that at the time is like, nah, I won't tell. I won't tell a friend I made like those years ago that these people, like a little kid told me like that these people were suddenly gonna die each year and all that. Definitely not. Definitely not. That'd be funny. Unless that was like part of the prophecy and As we drank together, we excitedly recounted our exploits during the final manhunt. Did they end up catching those two guys? Oh, cool. Nope. In the end, the search team never found them. They were probably hidden by the villagers, then sent overseas or somewhere else far away to lay low for a bit. Oishi-san, if I remember correctly, you managed to grab one of their guns, didn't you? Did you learn anything from that? Oh yeah, you could trace things of that, unless I guess the serial number and anything identifiable was like, filed off or removed. I guess there's that. It was a foreign military pistol. It's probably from the ones the gangs in Kansai managed to smuggle in a ton of. We tried to get a match from the rifling, but it didn't show up in any other cases. How about on your end? After that, I was removed from the front line, so I don't know much. In the end, it seems like everything was settled under the veil of secrecy. When she smiled wryly as he sipped his chilled drink. You removed from the front lines, even though I was there when I was written. I started this all, but you're gonna leave me out on the towel rack to dry. What happened to that? Sure was tough, huh? It has been 7 years now? Yeah. We held the memorial service a few days ago. I've become estranged with my father-in-law lately, so it's been rough getting everything ready. Oh, did your wife die, actually? Oh. That must have been a lot of work. It was then that the hostess brought in the extra drinks that we had ordered before. While the bottles of beer clanged as she brought them in, we halted our conversation. What all she meant was that he said it must have been tough. Thinking about that was still hard, but time had healed the wound. It was the day after, when I phoned Oishi to apologize. Oh. When I did, Oishi almost immediately handed the phone to one of my colleagues, happened to be there. Not only was I injured in the brawl with the suspects, but I just appeared to drink late into the night without leaving any sort of contact information, so I thought he'd definitely be mad. However, all he said was that it was something he couldn't talk about over the phone, and I should come to the station as soon as possible. At the time, I can only think that you must have been really pissed off. We can't let anyone else record our conversation of me chewing you the fuck out like a piece of chewing gum. Hmm. But when I arrived at the station, he said this. Since your wife was involved in an accident. Aw. Have no idea what happened. I borrowed the phone to contact the hospital Yuki was staying at. I've been given the runabout several times. I was finally able to talk to someone in charge. They're mincing words for quite some time. They told me, what accident? Yuki Akasaka died in an accident. A car accident, or? The world became a blur as I sat there, dumbfounded. Yuki's death was unbelievably abrupt, unbelievably sudden. And someone cut the phone line so I wouldn't even have a chance to talk to her before that happened. That is evil. That is evil. Because the phone lines weren't cut for anything malicious in the time of the day, at the very least. It was always conveniently almost these specific phone lines. These specific phone lines. I could have understood if there was some kind of problem during the birth. Yuki's death wasn't anything like that. Yeah, that was my first thought, honestly. On the stairs on the way up to the roof, he just happened to slip. And fall. He just happened to fall in an unfortunate place and an unfortunate angle. That was it. Wanted to blame Yuki's death on somebody. I began to think that it was an act of revenge of the Guardians, that they killed my wife and made it look like an accident. What I learned when I flew back to Tokyo, however, was much more cruel than that. Yuki had a habit of going up to the roof to cool off in the evening. There was an elevator up to the 7th floor, but from there you had to take the stairs to get to the roof. Oh god. Even late in her pregnancy, when the evening came, she'd always head up there. Her father had always said for her not to push herself, but Yuki insisted that until the time she had no choice to stay in bed, she should be allowed to do as she wished. However, I had never once seen Yuki go up to the roof. I only heard that from her father and the nurses. Oh. That's because when I visited her, she spent that time with me instead. I heard the reason why Yuki went to the roof from a nurse she had become friendly with. She had said that her husband was away in business a lot of the time, and that whenever he called, she was able to cheer him up and give him courage. But when he didn't call, she couldn't do that. Her husband might put on a show of bravado. In reality, he grew lonesome pathetically fast. She was probably just the same. Whenever he left for business, not clear when he'd be back, she felt very lonely. Whenever she cheered him up, she was actually cheering herself up as well. That's why, whenever he went far away for an important job, on the evenings he didn't call, at the very least, she felt that standing underneath the same sky, her feelings would reach him. At that moment, I remember the words the girl told me, that it was best that I go back to Tokyo right away. Otherwise, there'd be something I regret horribly. Yes, that's it. Because I was away in business that day, Yuki had headed up to the roof. Had I known that this would have been the result, had I done as the girl had said and dropped everything to head back to Tokyo, I might have been with Yuki the day she died. And now it feels weird because it was a warning several times and everything. Like, this is technically the chapter where, like, the warnings were given mostly just to help, like, I guess, like, save and, like, don't live in regret. But all the other warnings we, like, received in other installments were always just, like, something bad's gonna happen to Keiichi or anyone around him. But here is literally just warning to make it so it stops to happen. Which is... oh. If I was with her, she wouldn't have gone up to the roof. The day my wife died was an evening of the 3rd day of my trip. Yes. It was right before the time I had the sudden urge to hear Hyugi's voice. and ran around the village trying to find a phone. The girl had gone around and cut all the phone cords. The fuck? She hadn't, and I had made that call. I would have undoubtedly learned of Yuki's death that time, and collapsed in tears. Of course, even though the cords were cut, it only put me off of learning of Yuki's death by that one evening. In the end, I had learned of it the next morning. However, when I managed to put my emotions in order, I realized it was that girl's small token of consideration. That's the first I heard about that. Yeah, oh my god, honestly. Especially if it sounds like she technically died. Like when he was knocked out when saving the kid. Oh god, it's even worse thinking about it. Or it's even worse actually considering she died around the time he was talking to the doctor Oishi long into the evening, and then had the son inclination to try to call her and make sure to tell her he was okay. My god. Yeah. It's the first time I talked about it. And assuming that since oh boy, either she slit her neck and they just immediately just got the child out immediately, or in the days he couldn't call, they actually put she went to labor. Could have been a coincidence. She doesn't have any special powers or anything. You say that. You fucking say that, but shut your trap. Aren't you the one who told me, Oishi-san, that she might be the reincarnation of the god called Oyashiro-sama? For someone who doesn't exactly believe in a curse and all that, what was that? I guess you could hear they already had the idea of getting everyone else out of the way. Every other victim was pre-planned. But then there is that. Especially with all that, but I guess it also makes sense killing all of them the three families as well, in a political scheme. But then it doesn't make any sense by that point of the second installment with Mion literally just killing everyone, even our grandmother, and then her own sister, and then being pointed to being chased by the police. It doesn't feel quite right at all. Still, even now. Aren't you the one who told me, Oishi-san, that she might be the reincarnation of the god called Oyashiro-sama? Well, yeah. The old folks in the village believe that Rika Furude had divine powers. Divine powers? Oishi originally said it was said as a kind of joke. Realizing that I was serious, he slumped his shoulders. I don't know if it's the truth or not. They said she did things like prophesize the future, talk about things she should have no way of knowing. That she was clairvoyant, and it was divine revelation. Well, all sorts of things. Of course, they couldn't give specific examples, though. She prophesied Yuki's accident. Oishi should have laughed it off, but out of respect to my deceased wife, he kept it restrained. Does that mean an active and capable investigator from the Metropolitan Police Department believes in divine powers and curses? I mean, even if you don't believe that, you must have found, you must have looked into, how else she could have figured it out. There is that, too. There's that, too. Especially with everything else that happened afterwards. My god. Are you not going to bring up the whole curse thing? Having him say that so bluntly, I couldn't respond. Of course I had no intention of believing such odd things. Openly, anyway. But he can only say that because he didn't know what I did. So I met that other girl, who both was and wasn't Rika Furude. I couldn't deny the existence of any otherworldly entity. Of course I can't deny that it might not have been a presence, or pre-science, but rather a warning. Not presence, but science, but a warning. If what that girl has said about was a warning about Yuki's accident, then things became much easier to understand. It then just becomes why were you vague about your warning anyway, instead of literally just threatening to leave, honestly? if you know, like, really else divine, like, stuff is happening, like, you know how he's gonna take it, then, it kind of almost feels like you're just, like, vaguely just saying, you should go home. But, I won't tell you why you need to go home and all that. Because even if you don't want to, like, even, like, tell why you want to, hit, like, them to go home, like, you know, make sure the life, like, stays alive inadvertently by you being there, then, like, can you just, like, maybe sort of clarify that it's not because of the town? Like, it just seemed like just how, like, you basically called him, like, what was it? Whoever, like, if it was Rika or not, they basically just called Akasaka a coward. If that was not, like, you know, leading to make you think it's a threat, to, like, you know, like, leave and don't handle the hostage situation or anything like that, then how else are you how else are you actually meant to interpret that? How else actually were you? I can understand everything else, but that? It feels, again, it also feels off. It also feels off. Everything is off-putting. If what the girl had said was a warning about Yuki's accident, then things became much easier to understand. Basically, the line of thinking became that it was a threat. Because I didn't go back to Tokyo, my wife was killed in a way that made it look like an accident. Not satisfied with the investigation to your wife's accident? Of course I suspected foul play. I poured over the results and even carried out my own personal investigation. Yeah. There weren't any witnesses to Yuki's fall. There was the possibility that somebody had hidden, waiting to push Yuki down the stairs. However, the cleaning ladies frequented the roof to hang laundry, and security cameras on each floor hadn't recorded anything out of the ordinary. If there was one in the elevator too, then oh boy. There wasn't anything set up in the stairs. I was unable to find anything suspicious. Unless it's an elaborate thing of, like, someone used a cleaning thing outside, like getting up to the roof or anything like that, then there's no other way. In the end, even after my personal investigation, I can't think that anything else happened other than a simple accident. Well, of course. These were the guys that took the minister's grandson hostage. Being impossible for them to push a lone pregnant woman down the stairs without leaving any evidence. Oishi's expression had completely sobered up. They murdered your wife? When Yuki died, I thought that as well. More precisely, I wanted to blame somebody, so I created the most viable scapegoat. Like, scapegoats are fine as long as I guess, like, they actually have some fault to them, honestly. But without any clear evidence, that violent notion faded along with the wounds in my heart. Did that girl know beforehand about my wife's death and was threatening me? Or did she prophesy the death and was offering me a road to salvation? Had I to choose between the two, I would tend towards the latter. Oh, she smiled slightly in disbelief. He poured more beer from his bottle. And just on the sound of it, I don't think you told Oishi about the whole her other predictions of the Oyashiro-sama's curse. Yeah. Then, if I may, if what you say is true, then Mika Furude, the prophet who knew the future. If so, why didn't you predict that disaster? Oh, the gas eruption. This has happened in the third one? Oh. Wait, why'd you go missing then? If she knew that the gas eruption was going to happen, why did she remain silent? A few hours before it would have been enough. The village knew that most of the people would have escaped without dying. Yeah, everyone revered her too, and thinks she actually prophesies the future, so... There's that too, honestly. There is that too. Yeah... Wait, hold on. Great Hinamizawa disaster and memorial list. 59, question mark, question mark, question mark. What the fuck does that mean? It was near the end of June 1983. Volcanic gases from Onikafuchi Swamp erupted and hit the village in the middle of the night. It was an unprecedented disaster, where the whole populace wiped out. Well, no wonder, at least in this thing, you think it's kind of merciful anyway, because people are, like, gassed out without them even noticing there's anything wrong. That's kind of merciful, but, like, my god. But no, a second. No, wait, no. What do you mean, like, your death was merciful and all that? You were literally murdered and you were gutted open. You were cut down the stomach, Rika. What the hell? You call that merciful? Unless you found whoever killed you to be, like, someone of sympathy or something like that? And you felt like you actually deserved to be like that? Oh my god. It was an unprecedented disaster where the whole populace was wiped out. It caused a wave of panic about volcanic gas across the country, causing people to overreact over any reports of odd smells. Wait, immemorial list. Article 12, that's March 31st. But it was in June. Alright. I hadn't heard of the blockade in the Hinamizawa area being lifted, so it should still be cordoned off. That's... It was my turn to be lost for a response. Well, if Rika Furude, the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama, was killed, then the village might have incurred the god's wrath, making call forth the miasma from the swamp to kill everyone. So either that's an article talking about the thing later on. It was like in 1983, right? So it talks more about the next year. So there's that too. That, or if this is actually a different timeline than the third installment, then this is not a direct sequel to that one, or even like a prequel, midquel, after sequel to it, then literally the disaster was delayed then by a whole year. And like a few months before the next festival had happened, honestly. That's weird. Well, if Rika Furude, the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama, was killed, the village might have incurred the god's wrath, making him call forth a miasma from the soul to kill everyone. So it all becomes like, who killed Rika then? The explanation is what the survivors are whispering about. Sorry, Oishi-san. Did you just say she was killed? Huh? Ah, yeah. Well, I don't think it would have been a problem if I told you. When I saw the news of the gas disaster, I remembered that girl. I then found her name in the list of victims. That's why, at the time, I thought her own death she had predicted was due to the gas. It was after that I learned from the tabloids the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa. So in the 5 years leading to the disaster became known as the Curse of Yoshiro-sama. Okay, you just didn't bother looking into the Hinamizawa at all afterwards. Okay, makes sense. So literally, even though you're an outsider who had ideas of the future, you just wanted to push all your mind, or literally just because you didn't hear about the first few deaths that happened, then became confidential. By that point, you could not have interfered at all, honestly. And since I'm assuming racked with grief, you're trying to figure out the investigation with your wife, some murder and all that, and like looking into more things around it, and like focusing your own job and like handling just, single parent with your child, it makes sense. It actually makes so much sense, honestly. And that string of mysterious deaths lined up exactly with what that girl had predicted. So I had always thought to ask Oishi about it, and as he had been involved in the investigation. That's right. That was the reason for our reunion. But right now, Oishi had said, Rika Furude didn't die in the disaster, but was killed? Can I ask you about the last year of the curse? I may be retired, but I still have to keep things confidential, you know? Excuse me, madam? Do you have anything cold that's brewed locally? I agree if there is. In other words, please go away. This only becomes us. This is gonna be cold secret between us, okay? I'll leave the selection to you. Oh my, I didn't mean it that way. Why she laughed loudly, not wholly unsatisfied. Instead, the hoist is to tell her that the cheap booze is fine. I know as much as was written in those magazines, but I don't know anything of the curse that happened the year of the disaster. Because the entire area around Hinamizawa was sealed up, you see? There wasn't much investigation that could be done the last year of the curse. It almost seems too perfect then. They can't investigate at all. And some people went missing, and they can't verify if they're alive or not. Even for another several years, the quarantine is lifted. The villagers are mostly dead. And their bodies are probably decayed and all that. Unless their skeletons are, like, somehow still, hidden very extremely well, then the answer is not going to be answered anytime soon. Could be that the people missing are long away, but they don't want to reveal themselves as, be handled by reporters. or literally they died from the gases of the town itself, but still like were corned off, so like the police couldn't find them initially, even with a cursory search. And somehow still Keiichi survived, whether someone moved his body or put a gas mask on him for a quick bit, then removed it afterwards it happened. Which again, that's even another weird thing. Especially that's the exact lake where most of the fumes would have appeared down. After several years, the quarantines lifted. The villagers are mostly dead. And what few survivors there were mostly went to stay with relatives. They were mostly unknown. It's a complete dead end. Oishi seemed to postulate to himself. He stared at the ceiling, as if trying to work out a memory from the rusty cog in his head. The gears. And then, he said in a completely sober voice, "The magazines made it seem that the curse of the 5th year was that disaster. The actual curse really happened the day of the Higurashi festival. A photographer by the name of Jiro Tomatake. He was the victim." Oishi gestured about how the victim tore his own throat with his fingernails as he talked. And the burnt corpse of the woman Tomatake was in relationship with what's found in the mountains. The neighboring prefectural police weren't very cooperative. They don't know much about it, though. There were 2 victims in one night? Actually, see? It wasn't just those 2. You see, the next day, Kumagai-kun, one of my subordinates, disappeared along with his car in the middle of this investigation. Oh. Kumagai was a younger detective that was going to be partnered with Oishi when we first met. So technically this is a different event that happened since Oishi went missing instead of Kumagai. I think we actually saw his name by the ending of the 3rd installment, definitely. So that was different. So what was so important about Oishi calling up the police office just to find out a license plate number, one which had no demerits, fractions are like the person who owned the vehicle had no criminal history. He was going to the village to question people about the incident with Tomatake. He might have gotten caught up in something. If he was with me, he might have been safe. Even now, it still stings. That day, for some reason, I had a real number in my stomach, and it passed on going around outside. He got too close to the truth and was made to disappear. That's what I think. Kuma-chan was young and had a promising future ahead of him, but he still didn't have enough experience in the scene. He wasn't used to dealing with any complications. I think he would still go missing if you had experience with that anyway. Oishi lamented the fact that he wasn't with his subordinate that day. And then the next day, you see? You know him as well, Akasaka-san. You know, Dr. Eri. Remember him? The young doctor from the hospital? I vaguely remember. For no reason, he committed suicide with sleeping pills. No suicide note or anything. The autopsy confirmed that it was the sleeping pills. Nothing was in the doubt except for the motive. It isn't that hard to make it look like somebody died from taking sleeping pills, is it? Any possibility it was a murder? He was single, no prior marriages. Didn't seem like he was going out without anyone in particular. He was the coach of the local junior baseball team. Was on good terms with the villagers. He was well liked by everybody, except for one person. But unless it was again an unreliable narrator of literally again of how it's been like several times over that someone gets possessed and they don't remember anything. There's no way it was Keiichi, honestly. Even if he was possessed, like doing all this stuff, technically we were like in his own head while he felt like he was being possessed, or he actually did without any manipulation actually did want to kill Teppei's uncle, the Teppei uncle. There's that possibility, especially since the Sadako even brought it up as well. There is always that possibility. That's gonna be a thing of like, did he ever mention he was found dead in the? Was it mentioned he was found dead in the clinic or in his home? If it was like at the hospital, that seems like it's weird, because especially the day after, like either way, like if it was like the hospital, then Keiichi would have to go like all around, especially with many of the hospital staff knowing that like Keiichi was suspicious, and like Keiichi just found some people just overdosed, like, put a lot of those, like, crush up all those pills and put in, like, his drink at work, and then let it do the rest. And that wouldn't be none the wiser. Just leave the bottle there after he succumbs to sleep and overdose again. Just leave the pill bottle nearby where it's plain sight and make it feel like that. Just don't leave your fingers behind. That's it. As a home, then it's easier. Then honestly, you break in there through the window or anything like that. But they didn't find anything like that. Then how? Laying both ends. Then there's some resistance to the idea. He was the coach of the local junior baseball team, and was on good terms with the villagers. He was well liked by everybody. I couldn't find anybody who would want to do him harm. Well, any chances to investigate were ruined by the disaster, though. There's no way to find out anything about him now. That seems very convenient, honestly. Some of the strangest incidences, which you can't investigate into anything more. Then what about Rika Feruti's death? It was that day. Around noon, some of the old folks who were visiting the shrine discovered the corpse of Rika Ferute. Sadaka didn't bring it up at all when she ran from the bridge then. Murder? Before we continue, you should probably stop eating that squid somen. That bad? He nodded firmly. The corpse was found in the shrine grounds next to the donation box, although she was probably killed somewhere else. That's because, while she was completely naked, there wasn't any dirt in the soles of her feet. What was the last statement? Just be sure. Ah. Okay, yeah, bloodstains and all that, so... Yeah, she was carried in broad daylight near her own house. Any sign it was some sort of sexual assault? Oh. According to the autopsy, there was an indication of that. Okay, thank God. But he knows that she was rendered unconscious by some sort of drug, carried to that place, and then had her abdomen sliced wide open. So did the syringe actually play a part, then? Her organs were deliberately removed and scattered about. Unconscious? Then she wasn't cut open after her death? That's... horrible. That girl's prediction was right in the mark. I'm pretty sure she was more detailed about the other deaths that led up to her own. For example, I think she said that the housewife that was beaten to death on the 4th year had her head split open. In that case, did she know that her own death would be so terrible? There must have been some moments where she wouldn't doubt the validity of her own predictions. But as people died exactly as prophesized, as the years passed, that prophecy would only come closer to fruition. And then, facing the final year, unable to struggle against her own destiny, her all too young life was snuffed out. And in such a cruel way. Knowing that her days were numbered, and unable to fight the tides of events heralding her end, my heart ached at her helplessness. About the way she died, it seems like it wasn't just somebody's sick tastes. What I'm saying is, well, I told you before about how Hinamizawa used to be home to demons, didn't I? Well, I mean, the good demons, the bad demons, the semi-good, semi-bad. Yeah, I think I remember. The festival in Hinamizawa village, once in Higurashi, the con drifting, seems to stem from the drifting of entrails. It seems that it came from the man-eating demons ripping apart their victims and throwing their organs to the river. In other words, Hinamizawa pulling out entrails is some sort of religious meaning. Oh, Sakasaka. Actually thinking about it then, was actually that Lilium, just in the sound of it, like Lilium, does that mean, technically speaking, if we're believing the whole old folklore is that, this is literally actually, like, a demon actually killing and eating someone? Like, someone who's literally just the incarnation of Oyashiro-sama? That, or, like, they're taking the ritual, the conjuring to its original meaning all over again? Okay. In other words, in Hinamizawa, pulling out entrails is some kind of religious meaning? Well, this is according to the old tales of Hinamizawa, you see. To act as an arbitrator, so that humans and the man-eating demons could live together peacefully, a god known as Oyashiro-sama descended from the heavens. If I recall, Rika Furude was said to be the living incarnation of that Oyashiro-sama, wasn't she? Yeah. So, cutting up in Rika Furude, who is a living god, would be to the village nothing less than absolute sacrilege. Absolute sacrilege. In other words, you mean sacrilege towards Oyashiro-sama. Part of the god's soul was killed that day, so killed the whole village for it in retribution. The rest you should know, Akasaka-san. The wrath of Oyashiro-sama would occur that same night. The great Hinamizawa disaster. Oh. Akasaka again. The official explanation was that some swamp upstream erupted with toxic volcanic gas which enveloped the village. The swamp where erupted was called Onikafuchi Swamp. It was the origin of Hinamizawa's old name, Onikafuchi Village, and because of all the swamp, like, that originated from there, where Keiichi threw the motorbike and Keiichi, like, Satoshi's bat, I don't even know if the police even want to investigate in there to see a cause of it until things die down years later. Or actually by then, it's become its own radioactive, like, place, and you can't even go there for years and years to come. Oh boy. Oh boy. According to village lore, the depths of the swamp apparently lead to hell, where the man-eating demons come from. That almost seems too perfect. Not really. Oh, no. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's icebergs around here? There's also another bit of folklore in the village. When Yoshiro-sama became angry, the cauldron of hell would open up, and miasma would flow out, or so they say. To the villagers, hell was at the bottom of the swamp. And you just dumped a Satoshi's bat in there? Okay then, alright then, okay, thank you, Keiichi. That's actually what caused the whole thing. You sacrileged an innocent person's name if he didn't actually kill the ant. Which, again, I still don't buy that Satoshi did. Honestly. To the villagers, hell was at the bottom of the swamp. So basically, the miasma poured out, smothering the village? Yeah. Basically, due to the sacrilegious way that Rika Furude, the living incarnation of Oyashiro-sama, was killed, the village incurred the wrath of Oyashiro-sama, the form of that disaster. That seems to be their explanation. But, in other ways, like in the second installment, she was also killed the same way, and yet, as we know of, like, days later, the whole town didn't go underneath the volcanic gas either. So that kinda leads to something even weirder than situationally, but they don't know how to answer that since it's not their timeline anyway, so, That seems to be their explanation. So what you're saying is the disaster wasn't a natural one? Well, everything does seem to fit together a little too well, so it could have been man-made then. If Oyashiro-sama's curse doesn't really exist, and everything really was just a matter of coincidence, I would doubt it. A wry smile formed on Ochi's face as he listened to my absurd take on things. It's a part of me that really just wants to hear Oishi talk about Keiichi's attempted murder. Because honestly, just Oishi shaking the kid the first time he met him without being mad at him for having a reasonable explanation to be mad at him, and then when I'm finding Keiichi again, just digging a random hole in the middle of the forest, again, and then just like digging up and finding nothing, and just looking at him, just like oh yeah. That just sounds so fucking hilarious. It makes complete sense why Keiichi would also hate him there. It's still funny to me how perfectly it lines up as well. It's still funny to me. He wore an expression as though, even if it were absurd, there was a time he thought the same thing as well. In regards to the religious beliefs of the villagers, suppose there was a more fanatical group among them. Yeah, I can honestly believe that. And that group created a situation that would incur Oyashiro-sama's wrath and enacted the disaster to make it seem like the truth. Again, I think it seems like you're going into using like whether the god or not is real and taking upon your own like a fanatical group's meaning of how they think the god would like handle the situation and doing it for their own sake so the god doesn't have to. That's what it feels like anyway. Like I think I mentioned that I actually did talk about that in like the after party in the second installment too. It felt like we're going back towards that discussion point now. Of course I won't laugh. I've watered down that line of reasoning more than once myself. However, even though Hinamizawa is a small village, it still has a population of over 1,000 people, and technically speaking, we don't even know everyone there involved, so there could be some people there who are really powerful. Who made those syringes? Who made those drugs? We need to know. Eh. To murder that many people in a single night doesn't seem realistic, no matter how you think about it. And, well, literally, I'm pretty sure, like, they already tested the volcanic gas did come from the swamp, so how exactly do you make a man-made volcanic gas erupt from the swamp itself, then? I think that's what I was even trying to figure out, if that was even possible, ending the third installment. The gas eruption was believed to have happened around 2 a.m., several hours before dawn. How close is that bridge that Keiichi fell off from in the swamp area, actually? I wonder if the whole thing of, like, someone noticed him down there, decided to, move him or anything like that, and then do the whole ritual thing and then put him back after it was all said and done. Since there are people who are missing from there, they only give, like, the list of the people, I guess, characters we know, but also, like, one or two that I guess we might, or, like, will become important later on. Which I refuse to look at the credits for that again. Yeah. I'll probably look through when if, like, if the recognizable name comes up in the answer arcs, then I'll look back at the credits. That's when I will. Several hours before dawn. In that short amount of time, going around and killing the villagers in a way that made it look like a poison gas didn't seem feasible at all. So no one did autopsies on any of the victims who died from a quote-unquote gas, then? They all just blamed the gas and just moved on? Huh. That's convenient. The swamp the gas erupted from still had some religious significance, didn't it? If that's the case, then maybe there was something in the swamp that could be activated whenever a divine verdict was rendered. According to the JSDF's press release, the swamp was declared the source of the eruption. The swamp itself, or, like, whatever the gas erupted from? If it was the swamp itself, then, like, the swamp made the gas. Whether the gas came from the swamp, those are two different distinctions. Those after everything was thoroughly looked over by their investigation team. If everything like that was set up, I think they would have found it. They didn't find a motorbike or a metal baseball bat. The entrance to hell? You wouldn't necessarily have to be in the swamp itself. Come on, haven't you ever heard about it? The old story about how when a faraway spring dried up, the village spring dried up as well? What do you mean by that? Many waterways are connected by underground aquifers. Oh, that's how they did it then, if, like, it was man-made. Then how come it didn't go to anyone else? Well, I mean, if it's somewhere connected to, Hinamizawa, and extends to other towns and people evacuated there, they wouldn't be able to identify where the source of where the chemicals would be then. They're looking, it just came from the swamp itself. So someone could have made it to a swamp which connected somewhere else, and then made it look like the gas came from there. It's actually kind of a smart plan if it was man-made. Many waterways are connected by underground aquifers. Swamps and springs are only the parts that manage to pop above the surface. They can even, like, if there's even people, like, made, like, some, I guess, caves or something down there, they could easily go down there and just, like, put the creation of the gas in there as well, and, like, even further confuse and all that. So what you're saying is that Onigashima Swamp is connected to another swamp or spring. There's something the villagers rigged up there long ago. Something that changes the pressure of Onigashima Swamp, causes it to erupt with poisonous gas? Is that what you're getting at? Oishi laughed heartily, commenting the fact that the young'uns have a nice, flexible way of thinking. That was the former detective in him. Even though it was a hypothesis that he didn't come up with, he still had the presence of mind to not dismiss it right away. That's an interesting theory. If that proves to be true, then it would be, unprecedentedly, the largest mass murder in the history of Japan. Would that be the largest mass murder in the history of the world? Or, like, now I just want to know, has anyone, like, committed mass murder in, over thousands? Once the quarantine in Hinamizawa village is lifted, I think it should definitely be investigated. Oji-san, do you still have any connections with the blank prefectural office? Somewhat. I'm an honorary advisor for the judo classes, so even now I pop by during summer training and camps and such. I don't know when the quarantine in Hinamizawa village will be lifted, but please, let me help investigate. Got it. Oji-san, how do you feel about the string of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa they call the curse of Oyashiro-sama? Was it a curse? Who's behind it all? Did one person cause each death entirely? Or is it all from one person? Or a curse? Or a combination of the two? At the time, the villagers were putting up a lot of pressure on the station. The official stance on things is that the cases were unrelated. And each case was separate, each with its own resolution. And that couldn't be. Even though it's blatantly obvious the cases were connected, based on the village's religious beliefs. Akasaka-san, we can only say that now because of the rather grandiose way things ended after 5 years. At the time, those coincidental incidents just happened to coincidentally occur on the day of Wanta Nagashi. That, I'm pretty sure after the 3rd or 4th year, it's less coincidental, honestly. Just it would be nice if nothing happened this year, kind of feel to it. Coincidence? I think not. Coincidence? I think not! The girl predicted everything from the beginning. Girl? Rika Furude. Now you're getting into this! Yes! Intriguing! Intriguing conversation. Continue. Continue. Please continue. That child warned me about all the incidents that would happen afterwards. Akasaka-san, is that true? Yes. The girl said as much. The next year, the dam foreman will be killed, and his corpse dismembered. And like that, she warned me of all the events that would transpire in the following years. Akasaka-san, when she told you all that, what year was it? When I met the girl, I was investigating the kidnapping incident, so June of 1978. It's a year before the dismemberment murder. Wrinkles are formed between Oshi's eyebrows as he closed his eyes and began to digest what I just told him. Akasaka-san? You're wrong about Rika Furude knowing the future through some divine medium. This is getting ridiculous. Yep. You're just trying to shock me. I'm gonna be really angry, you know? I'm speaking the truth. And the script behind the chain of mysterious deaths was written a year before it even started. And just predicted, Rika Furude was killed. At first, I thought she meant that she would be killed in a disaster. However, now that I know her death wasn't due to that, rather an atrocious one in the hands of a murderer. She said she would be killed. At that point in time, she knew more or less how her own death would occur, roughly. Then why didn't Rika Furude try and run away? Even if her death was already spelled out for her, knowing that, she still had a grace period for several years, didn't she? She had plenty of time to try and run away or consult the police. Why did she just accept her death with no resistance? I don't know. And I feel like Lydia also could be like, none of that's happening in the village itself, but like, could it be like, even if you ran, like, you would still be targeted and died there too? Even though Rika Furude was doted upon by the older folks in the village, you see, after she lost her parents, she had no living relatives. She lived a fairly solitary life among them other than hanging out with some close friends. It might have been she didn't have any power to fight or anybody to rely on. She must have tried signaling somebody for help in regards to her own death, though. You know very well that the village and the police weren't very amicable with one another, Akasaka-san. At the very least, I never heard anything about Rika Furude seeking protection from anybody. Yeah, not even in the other ones, actually, thinking about it. It's always she put it on herself. And actually, I had this thought in my head, but didn't voice it. Especially with Rika's mom as well, like, just being so abusive. I guess it actually kind of makes sense as well as, like, why Rika and, Sadako, like, hit off so well, too. Like, they can understand each other's pain, I guess, a tiny bit. Even if, like, the abuse was, like, worse in scale on each other's end, it's still there. Or could it be that she simply resigned herself to being a religious sacrifice? It could have been something like that. There's no way that was the case. I spoke decisively. At that time, she said it. She definitely said that she wanted to live happily, that she wanted to spend her time surrounded by her dear friends. She hadn't given up on life. She'd hoped to keep on living. That makes sense, like the whole thing with the syringe as well. Like, she knew that Mion, like, was behind something, but she wanted to keep herself alive. But still, like, I guess give benefit of the doubt. Hmm. But then, why about with, this, then? Didn't even seem like Rika, like, was trying to help at all with anything. She's something the most silent. Besides her leaving to, like, cheer up to Sadako after, the festival happened, she didn't really do anything or say anything. In the first installment, like, she definitely filled up to the very end, when, it seemed like there was nothing wrong going on, actually. Was she gonna die, like, at a few days after Keiichi did as well, then? That's the weirdest part, then. That the 1 year where absolutely nothing weird happened in any circumstances was the one that she was left alive, then, in some way. Unless, like, she died after Keiichi did, then that's literally the only time she was left alive, then. The one where absolutely nothing out of the ordinary happened. So just the fact that something happened, another outside incident came and being mixed in the whole chain of events, is what caused her to die. So literally, for fate of her not to, for make sure that she stayed alive, literally she just had to hope that nothing changed. That is a weird thing to think about. That is a weird thing to think about. She hadn't yet given up on life. She had hoped to keep on living. At that moment, I become dumbstruck. What's the matter? Agataka-san? No, it's nothing. No, you realize something. Spit it out. Say in your thought bubble. Say in your little monologue. Right now. Right now. I fell into silence. Oishi folded his arms and began murmuring in contemplation again. Eventually, he stood up and headed towards the hallway to find the hostess, yelling that he wanted a pen and paper. When Oishi, noisily, even though he was just thinking, left, the room immediately fell into a chilled silence. I stood up. It was then I realized that I was drunk enough to be unsteady on my own feet. Oh boy. That was one thing I always, like, what was it? It must be a different thing of, like, being, like, never got actually outright drunk to the whole point of, like, you're in and out of consciousness, but, like, by that point, does it actually, like, really, honestly, change how you think and process things? Because, like, when I only ever been buzzed, and I always just felt like, maybe just because I always paced myself and all that, but I always felt like I was always the same, technically speaking. But if anything else like that technically happened, then you're always the same. So even the whole thing of like the weird you let your inner self out, no inhibitions and all that. I don't think I ever had that experience. When I slid open the window, a beautiful yet somehow ephemeral moon drifted across the night sky. It was just now that I realized she hadn't accepted her own death. Nope, several times. But then what happened in the what happened in the third one with the disaster then? She was rendered unconscious. And we don't even know what her fate was ultimately after the first one. The first installment. She hadn't accepted her own death. She wanted to keep living. Happily, joyously. She had said that quite clearly to me. But I was a fool. I hadn't been asked explicitly, so I hadn't realized it. She had made it clear as day that she didn't want to die. Wasn't that her cry for help? She didn't say as much as she wanted help. Even given that, it wasn't as though she wasn't looking for salvation. Without any family and unable to trust the police, she instead told somebody without relation to the village. Somebody from a faraway place. Me. And by that point, actually, like, you were already too close to the incident, even though she warned you, like, to save your own wife then. But then it was too late to do anything else, except, like, give another warning what's gonna happen, and even then you couldn't see it. Help me. She had gone around and cut the phone cords. If I made that phone call and learned of Yuki's death, I probably would have fallen into despair. If I was in that state, even if she was looking for help, her cries would have fallen on deaf ears. That's why. Knowing everything, she got the phone cords. She wanted even a little time to seek help from me. Oishi, just before now, had lamented that one of the younger officers had gotten mixed up in a case, having erased because he wasn't there. I was feeling the same way. If only I was there in June of 1983, I could have protected her. In 1983, it had been 5 years since the kidnapping took place. While raising the only daughter Yuki had left me, putting all my youth and passion in my work, honing my wits and courage wrestling with difficult cases. Nothing like my failings during the kidnapping incident would have occurred. I wouldn't have been slow to react in a one-on-one fight, and by that point, I jumped into foreign mafia-run gambling parlors where I'd learned to deal with automatic weapons, let alone handguns. I had grown so much that in 1983, I couldn't even compare to how I was in 1978. That's why, if I was by your side, I should have been able to save your life. And that's hindsight, technically speaking. It's always easy when to think about now what choice you could have made in the moment, when you have all the details now. But especially when you only realize in the moment whether you're being manipulated or really just you don't have everything in your mind, or like what details you could get factored through, you just filtered through a horrible lens. Sometimes out of anything you could do, you only have one choice. Even with just a combination of like your circumstances or how you even think about things, honestly. Sometimes you only have one choice. And there's even times where like you can take it multiple ways, and even then, it's always between a rock and a hard place for some decisions. Sometimes you do have some decisions, some you have too many choices which you can't even begin to even fathom and to like sit down and deliberate on each one to make one the heat of the moment. Or really you have none at all. It's always one of those possibilities, and even narrowing things down. And sometimes there really is no other possibility except for one. Unless you someone from outside told you to do this or that. An outside influence. Another Facebook giant grandfather clock. Which you even then wouldn't probably even then take heed, honestly. If I was by your side, I should have been able to save her life. No matter what conspiracy or foul plots drew near, I definitely would have protected her. She, even though something resigned, should have still have been able to ask me for help. I just didn't realize it. I couldn't realize it. Just like I wouldn't have realized it if I was told of Yuki's accident. I wasn't able to realize it. I wanted to cry. If I'd taken her words to heart, I would have prevented Yuki's accident. I would have been able to protect the girl to whom I owed a debt from even a predetermined death. She must have been expecting that from me. I learned about the disaster while watching television in my own house. Until I learned about that, I had forgotten about Hinamizawa. In order to recover from the shock of Yuki's death, I tried to remove everything from the place from my memory. What an ungrateful fool I was. Even though in exchange for saving her, the girl had told me of the way to save Yuki, I wasn't able to accept her gratitude, and now here we were. She hadn't died in her sleep due to a natural disaster. She was split open while still alive, killed while suffering the disgrace of having her organs torn out. She must have known beforehand that on that day and that year, she would be killed in such a terrifying way. And even knowing what end awaited her, she was all too weak. A lone girl, without anybody to rely upon, unable to seek help, had to swallow her own predetermined death, and left this mortal coil. She said she wanted to live. She said she wanted to live happily. That's all she wanted. She didn't ask for anything extravagant. For any person that was ever born, it was the very basis of desires. She never said a peep about wanting money, that she wished she was in somebody else's situation. She had said it. That if all deaths were preordained, then hers was probably also all according to plan. She might have been a lone, frail girl, I don't think she would have accepted it at all without at least putting up a fight. There must have been, in some small way, some form of resistance that she mustered. And with what she could muster, seeking my help was a part of that. God damn it! I howled. I stomped the floor. Why did I become a police officer in the first place? How could I call myself an officer if I couldn't save a single girl from the misfortune that was awaiting her? Was it because there was so much going on at the time I couldn't process the fact that she was asking for help? Yeah, that was right. Back then, I was still green. If I was in this situation now, I would have definitely been able to help her. But it was already all over. Even if I wanted to settle the regrets she left behind, Hinamizawa, as a dangerous area, was still quarantined. Most of the people involved were already dead, with a few that did remain spread across the country, unable to be traced. The stage of that strategy was still off limits as well. The police investigation was put on hold, the case slowly being buried in the sands of time. Just like how I wouldn't have known unless Oishi had asked me about it. Akasaka-san, when did you come up here? God. You okay? At some point, Oishi returned with a notebook in hand. Until I saw the expression on Oishi's face, I didn't realize I was in tears. I never realized she wanted help. Akasaka-san, calm down. But it's all too late now. She was killed. Such an atrocious manner. She was counting on me, but I couldn't save her. I couldn't save her. I might also be at fault for not building up an amicable relationship with the village. Rika had told me about it. I might have been able to extend a helping hand. I wasn't able to build up enough trust for that. That's something I regret. Yeah, especially if it's literally just that same year, you just walked up to a random kid who was just close, like friends to Masadako, and then immediately just start shaking rapidly. But yeah, that's your apparently word of building trust. Then yeah, when Oishi said the word trust, it weighed on me even more. Yes, she had given me her trust. She trusted me. I mean that she thought that I would have been able to ward off the fate of her foreseen death. She believed in that. I cried. I fell to my hands and knees and began to bawl. Eventually, Oishi spoke quietly. Akasaka-san? Does that upset you? It does. Then, there's only one way worth mentioning for Rika Furude to have revenge. Is there really? Is there a way to do that? Oishi showed me the pen and notebook. In order to properly mourn the death of Rika Furude, we'd at least find out the truth. Truth? Yes, and not just Rika Furude. Lots of people died. Their lament must be immeasurable. Their deaths were left unsettled because of the disaster, and now we can't even investigate them, as the memory fades into oblivion. Many people died. The old man was killed, Kuma-chan was erased, everybody was a victim. But the police can't even investigate it. Who's gonna take care of their parting regrets? Only we can. Akasaka-san. We find the truth. Yeah, we'll find it. I've been around every one of the string of mysterious deaths and know all the inner workings of the village. You were told an important truth a year before they happened in Rika Furude. We can do it. But they're already dead. That's right. Rika Furude died. You were too inexperienced so you couldn't save her. Oishi grabbed me, who was a wreck, and lifted me firmly by the lapels. That's why. To atone for that, we reveal the truth. If what you say is true, then all the incidents were part of some greater design. If that's the case, then how we can investigate needs to be changed completely. I intend to spend tonight summarizing all the information you and I have, and then get in contact with one of my former subordinates first thing in the morning. We're not gonna let the case go cold. We're definitely gonna crack it wide open. Crack it open. Crack it open, yeah. We will. Several years have passed, but it's not beyond the statute of limitations. The case has been postponed, It's not closed. It's still going. We're gonna keep it going. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Let's do it, Oishi-san. I won't let it end like this. I'm certain we will uncover the truth. We absolutely will. I demonstrated my resolve to Oishi by crying out those words. And just then... Papa, you were screaming so loudly, what's happening? The sliding door behind me opened, and Miyuki revealed herself while sleepily rubbing her eyes. My shouting must have awoken her. Then she rushed over to me. What's wrong, Papa? Papa, why are you crying? Oh. No, it's nothing, Miyuki. It's nothing. I tried hard to smile while wiping away my tears. Though Miyuki looked like she was going to cry herself, she extended her little hand to me. Are you alright? Do you have another scary dream? Don't cry, Papa. When she makes that gesture toward me, I saw the figure of another girl overlapping with her, and her innocent gaze and innocent expression felt frustratingly nostalgic, filling me with painful torment. A girl who couldn't be here because I didn't reach out to her. She borrowed my daughter's body to offer me words of comfort. Akasaka, please don't cry. It might be hallucination. Maybe it can be an illusion formed from my selfish dreams. However, that was her voice. I'm certain I heard it. Rather than blaming me for my mistake, she was compassionate. Why am I crying? Or I have something more important to do than crying? Miyuki, before you were born, Papa met a girl in Hinamizawa who was like an angel. An angel? Really? Yeah, she was cute and kind. I wanted her to meet you, Miyuki. Right. That's already an impossible wish. The future's already gone. I want to be friends with that girl. I'm looking forward to it. Next time you go, take me with you. To Hinamizawa. Even so, there's still something I can do. Of course. We'll meet her together someday. I'm sure of it. Yep. Someday. I'm sure. We will see her again. That summer, the Higurashi cried in Hinamizawa. Oishi and I vowed to bring the truth of the case to light and stood up. Everything ended in 1985. I, at least, went to apologize, had searched for her grave. After the state autopsy, her remains were entrusted to one of the shrine's followers. In the future, when the quarantine in Hinamizawa area is lifted, they will return to her family grave. However, unsure exactly to the remains of Rika Furude, until today, I couldn't even apologize to her. In the future, when the quarantine on Hinamizawa is lifted, all I could do then was wait until whoever the person returned to the grave. What I could do right now was not apologize to her. Instead, until I was able to meet her again, I would reveal the truth and dispel her regrets. Even now, sporadic eruptions of gas in Hinamizawa area meant that the prospect of the quarantine being lifted wasn't happening anytime soon. Most likely, it seemed that she had no intention of meeting me again until I found the truth. From outside or anything. Outside of town. You can't investigate the town. I'm gonna figure everything out from your end, right from outside, looking afar. Have fun. And that's why the quarantine would be lifted. Or so I thought. So I believed. Until the day I grasped the truth. It was the following year. Oichi and I co-authored a book on the string of mysterious deaths leading up to the Great Hinamizawa disaster. I decided the title. My god. That is on the nose. Oh my gosh. Higurashi. When They Cry. That was because for those few days with Hinamizawa, the sound I remembered the most was the cry of the Higurashi. I can only wish that based on this book, those people involved with that incident could refresh their memories and bring light a new truth. And more importantly, that nothing like this ever happens again. I wrote this in the afterword. Why did this tragedy happen? We can't reach the truth by ourselves. If you're reading this, please discover the truth. That's our only wish. Is that actually, like, all these, like, in the style of those other ones? Like, meant to be taken from the same book, almost? Afterwards? That actually is amazing, honestly, that is. I'm gonna go back to those now. This year, the quarantine in Hinamizawa still hasn't been lifted. Okay, that was actually really cool, honestly. That was really good. Nice! New scenario has been unlocked. All cast review session. Oh boy. Our only wish achievement. Continue waiting for the quarantine to lift. Okay, I was actually not expecting it. I was not expecting it to be the third installment I continued off from. I theorized it could have been continuing off of any of the last ones, but definitely not that one. Especially since Oishi's around, but it was another version of it. Instead of his coworker going missing instead. Ooh. Ooh, that's so interesting. Okay. So before I go and see what the other choices for this chapter were, like through the other things, like, you know, through here anyway, then in this end, I'll go and read through the after party. That actually does get blood pumping and all that. I'm actually glad I guess in a weird way, the author didn't have enough time to make a full-fledged thing to go to Shion, because this is actually really good. Honestly, very. I was a tiny bit, I felt like a tiny bit of dragged, like, you know, in I guess, the kidnapping a tiny bit. Not like, you know, the events itself, like, I guess, where, like, they got him and all that. Like, you know, they saved the kid. It dragged a tiny bit there for me. But besides that, everything was really good. It was really well written, especially this ending, honestly. Like, the phone lines and all that, like, just that chapter into this one. Man, that was really absurdly good. Man. So, do we have to deal with anyone else talking? We can only talk to him Akasaka. He's on the phone. Only he's on the phone. We can't speak to anyone else. Only Oishi, Rika, and Akasaka on the phone. We only see a little girl and an old man talk to each other as the actors. Thank you very much for playing Higurashi during the cry. Himatsubushi. Don't you dare. Oh my, oh my. No matter what anybody else says, I'm the star of the scenario this time. On top of that, they added some nice jazzy theme music. Technically, you weren't really the star of the scenario because your picture was in the cover for this game. So even though you had a lot of attention attracted to you, you weren't the stars. So sorry, not sorry. Okay, no. On top of that, they added some nice jazzy theme music. We haven't heard that actually too often since then, honestly. Like once or twice, or 3 times probably. If you can't laugh here, where can you laugh? Nowhere. Ever in the history of the world. I mean, this game series is called When They Cry, not When They Laugh. Aha. Anyways, shut up, you're laughing. Hasn't there been too much of you lately, Oishi? You should be completely gone for the next chapter, honestly. Let Shion be the spotlight, honestly. Huh? What do you mean by that? Rika-sa. Punch in his throat. Oh, hi. She meant that literally. Okay, you're still here. Man, it's actually kind of weird now seeing you all like this. Since we haven't seen you in quite a while actually. There's nothing imprudent of you to try and hog the spotlight here, even though you already had all the screen time. Besides Rika-chan, who was the main heroine, everyone else didn't really have any appearances, did they, Hoshi? I heard that this time the scenario was a bit of a side story, but I didn't think that they would leave out the main cast this much. We need a flashback. Of course, you guys are important, are not even important to that thing. You guys are worthless to it. In a rude way to put it. Like, how even old were you, Sadako, around the time? How old was Rika at the time, anyway? Because the sound of it, at least to me, like, maybe just how it felt to me, like in the main, like the other three, like, you know, scenarios, installment, it seemed like Rika was like like at least maybe 9 or 10 years old, honestly, somewhere young. Like this game should be like 3 or so then, right? But like almost like a toddler. So they were definitely different age groups though, definitely. So how old was Rika? My god. You didn't have it so bad, Mion-san. At least you had a few appearances, did you not? In the tip section. Not the main proceedings, actually, sorry. With Reina-san, I didn't even have a cameo. Reina still showed up on the covers a lot, so she's still okay. The covers a lot? She's only been on one cover, at least I know, in this game. Well, it's probably different from when the game originally came out all those years ago, but not these days, not these days. She's only on one. Technically, Reina technically is technically the, I guess, the poster child for this whole entire series and the sound of it, honestly. Just feels like it, like I think the first time I ever seen anything about this series before playing this, she was the first one to come up, honestly. There was that. Exactly what are you trying to say then? That I was the only outcast with no appearance? Is that it? I mean, you were cursed. I don't know when the curse happened. Probably happened after the kidnapping, but that means the curse extended even before you did it. Which means before you even did anything wrong, people hated you. Which is another terrible thing to think about. My god. Even as a joke. Napa, Hoshi. You treated me horribly. You had a lot of screen time last installment. It only makes sense you don't get any screen time in this chapter. How sad, how sad. They'll probably just keep treating you worse and worse until you finally drop down to a supporting role. I hope that doesn't. She's best character besides Shion. She's second place, honestly. That's just too much. That's not true. There's still lots of people like Sadako-chan. Yes, thank you. Bring it up. They won't treat you that horribly, okay? The audience won't. The author would. I don't like being treated like this. I think you'll probably have a lot of appearances next time. Next time. So cheer up, okay, Hoshi? And I like how I'm just realizing this now. The Reina likes repeating the end of her sentences a lot, and I make fun of it. But I know I unintentionally repeat the same exact words when speaking. Every time I edit or see an old video I made, I repeat the exact same words in the same sentence. Not the same way Reina does, but I say the exact same words repeatedly to the point of being completely redundant. So I'll still make fun of you for it. But I heard that this scenario was supposed to be somewhat of a bonus story. Is it really? I think that things kind of got complicated. Kind of on par, but I actually like how that this is. Hopefully, this is canon. Actually, lines up so well. The story was difficult for me to understand. Yes. Yeah. What I found the hardest to believe was the year before the string of mysterious deaths. Rika-chan already knew about them. You're the actors, there's some element or the implied element of supernatural. A prediction, okay? You should know about this. And if there's no supernatural at all, and all that was just, complete massive red herrings and the swampy fish, then she somehow was told or figured out by sooner with the entirety of that plan down, or was smart enough to figure that out. Which based on how specific they were, I don't think you can figure that and deduce that. You have to read it down, or someone said it around you. Which that has to be narrowed down to some people, honestly. Which means all the incidents were part of someone's scenario. This whole entire series, technically, each separate scenarios. Meta. That's a pretty important piece of information. It's probably because I'm a Shrine Maiden, so I knew the future from Oyashiro-sama's divine revelations. Yeah. For somebody like me who believes in the theory that it was the work of human culprits, I'd like to deny that. You can't deny the truth! It's literally just if you want to believe the human culprits theory is true, that Rika definitely heard it from someone. And that's the only opportunity, honestly. That's the only way. Either read it down from someone's notes, or heard it. But either way, she definitely would have heard the culprit, like, the culprit doing all that. And she was completely sure about the predictions, so either divine predictions or whatever she read or heard about was, I guess, credible enough to believe wholeheartedly then. I believe in the curse, so that Rika-chan, who's a living incarnation of the deity that protects Hinamizawa, Yoshiro-sama, could have divine power as a possibility, I think. Ah, nope, la 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 la, I don't hear you, cover his ears, la 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 la, no. For someone who thinks it was the work of a man, that kind of unfounded fantasy will not stand. It was the work of a man, it could be also a woman. I mean, you were technically behind the second scenario, honestly. Don't you dare say it cannot be. Don't you dare say it's not. All the incidents were caused by people. But do you know whether or not they were caused by possessions or not? Possessions your installment was talked about, even hints about it, huh? There's no curse or magic or aimbots or cheat codes. Aimbots, what? It would be wonderful if I could use magic, though. Get a staff. Become Himiko Yumeno. I just realized now. I feel like I'm gearing more into like giving that voice almost to you. Somewhat lethargic, but like, soft spoken. Oh, she? If it's Rika-chan, I can go along with that. Aww. Well, for the people who believe it was the work of humans, the ending was a big revelation. From the first incident until Rika-chan was killed in the Great Disaster, everything was scripted. Then it's all one big incident, vastly increased the amount of material you can hypothesize with. I mean, wait, then that means the author lied at the beginning of this, that you can't make any conjectures. Oh my god, he lied to us! Well, that technically means it was a good lie then. The good lie. I think that the prophecy is proof in itself that Rika-chan has some divine power. In other words, it's proof that there's some mysterious power at work in Hinamizawa. I think it's proof that the incidents weren't the work of humans alone. Actually thinking about it, like, since there's a lot of wordplay along with like some characters like surnames and all that, and like even with Oyashiro-sama as well, is there any wordplay with Hinamizawa? And of course I can't figure out my own self, or like if maybe later on they're gonna explain that in its own way, maybe in Shion's path, like Shion's answer arcs things. But is there any wordplay for Hinamizawa? Like, since it's a fictional land, fictional town, village. I wonder if there's anything for that too. I think it's proof that the incidents weren't the work of humans alone. The inside of my head is so muddied I don't even know what's going on. Like gravy, molasses, syrup. Oh, that's right. More importantly, the expression that Rika-chan was wearing this time. That was super scary, wasn't it? Not scary, but more, I guess, unsettling or unnerving, I guess you can say. Meep. Makes a demonic face immediately. Reverse back to normal. Yeah, I'm surprised too. That's a new face. That's a new face. I see that. That's a new face here. What is that? What is that new face? Never thought that cute little Rika-chan would laugh like that. Hey, just for a little bit. Could you show us that face one more time? I don't want to. I don't wanna. I don't want to do that outside the story. Make all demon faces by everyone. What is this? A blackout? Oh no, we're all gonna die. The actors are gonna get killed off, and the series is canceled. What? Nobody move! Any weird movements and you'll come face to face with synchronized Gatling guns, multiple homing missiles, and be cut up by laser sabers to the finisher. Sadako? What's the meaning of this? Hi. Oh! We'll now be starting the after party for everybody who didn't have appearances this time. Oh! Hello again. Thanks for that wonderful introduction. I still don't know how to place you as somehow being involved with Tomotaki's death at all. Because even though like both of you are all the victims, even like we're halfway through the fucking series and we don't know anything about either y'all besides your profession and I guess motivation wise, honestly. Even after all this time. Well, the revelation of him, I guess, Takano being behind it, I guess, was a mother that too. I remember just like jotting down in my actual notes like very early on about him, is there a reason, like, could be possibly the one victim killed another, and I wrote that down, but I couldn't see anything. for Link. Like, there was, of course, the whole thing of, like, you know, they seem to be dating, but, like, besides that, there didn't seem to be anything that we could glean. That's just we're always from the perspective of a 12-year-old boy. Thanks for that wonderful introduction. Hello again, everybody. I didn't think that I'd appearance here of all places. Well, let's take a snapshot, then. I'm delighted, though. Sadako-chan, thank you. Actually, thinking about it, how are we going to juggle all these appearances for each different story, then? Oh my god. Whoa, hello, everybody! Yeah? Oh my god, okay, she's dead. Oh my, didn't warn you not to move? Ryugu-san, are you okay? Hojo-san, you didn't have to go this far. Oh! The grudge of somebody not making appearances is a terrible thing. And that's why I'm, like everyone else, was punished for it. Okay. So I've got lots of appearances in the main scenario. The grudge of somebody not making an appearance. Damn it, when was she able to set this many traps? When you weren't looking, you were doing, you were doing your little, you know, doing your acting for this main scenario in the tip section. That was when she did it. Maybe that when this place is selected as the venue for the after party. At that point, my traps are already set. Oh, I know. There's somebody behind you pulling the strings. Oh my god, Sadako is actually how I'm dancing the marionettes of fate. My god, there is, isn't there? Come on, come out, come out. Of course it's you. Honestly, yes. If it's an enemy force behold, it's Sadako and Shion together to do all these stupid, all these traps. That's actually everyone's doomed then, honestly. Hello, my sister. How are you doing? Oh, it's Shi-chan. Hello. Yeah? Okay, well, she's... Okay, I think she needs to go to the hospital at this point. I feel sorry for her falling for the same trap twice. That's funny. I thought it was you, Shion. Even though you get to be the main character for a scenario, this is how you behave for just a scenario? If that's... No, not just one scenario. Please, it has to be way much more than that. No. It has to be way more than that. Please, no. Aw, come on. Aw. I'm fine if we go back to Keiichi for a tiny bit or not, but Shion has some more appearances, please, no. Even though you gotta be main character for a scenario, this is how you behave. Are you gonna done it? Even if it's only the bonus scene before the answer arcs, I can't let my sister have all the appearances. I'm not that generous, you know. Well, how is she? In any case, I just let Sadako start a little something. Shion, what is it you want? Let's just say I'm securing myself a little safety buffer. The other day, for some reason, you were steadily getting more votes in the popularity poll. Rejection, no. Yep. The first half of the Watanashi chapter, there were a lot of people getting infatuated with Mii-chan. Can you word it differently? When your malicious side made its appearance, all the players finally started noticing my charm. Sadako also earned a good reputation during the Tadagoroshi arc. Reina and Rika-chan have a strong baseline of support. I can honestly believe Reina and Sadako. Well, Reina definitely from the outset. But Sadako, like she deserves it. And Shion's good, obviously. She's honestly fun the very second he appeared. It's one of those kind of charms where, like, the second a new character appears, sometimes you can immediately tell, like, almost like playing through a new game. You can tell the second it appears, you start something, you already know it's gonna be good. You already know their presence is gonna make things better. Your popularity has long since faded away. That's why I thought I'd take the time now to crush you and Sadako. You've been getting too many votes for my comfort. Wait, how are you gonna crush Sadako then? So I came up with this elaborate plan. Huh? Shion-chan, what did you say just now? You're gonna crush me as well? For the press. You're a little slow to notice, aren't you, shorty? Here you go. What? Okay, that just sounds like complete utter death then. Sinister music. Goodbye, all you regulars. Hello to all you irregular folk. All the main characters are done for. That's funny. Oh my god, Reina just literally just, after going to the second chapter, just got unconscious. That's hilarious, honestly. Oh my god. Shion-chan, you don't have to go that far, probably. Now, Jiro-san. No, let her do it. Let her do it. No, Shion needs to have more screen time. No matter what it is, she can do it. She's fine. It's interesting, so just let it be. The number of appearances for the both of us is going to go up, you know. Jiro-san, do you not like being by my side? That's not true. That sounds like you're trying to compensate for it. Chi-sensei! Oh my gosh, you're back up now. Did Shi-chan pay you off too? I'm sorry, Ryugu-san. Shi-chan said she would make me a new segment called Teach Me Chi-sensei starting from the next scenario, so I just... Oh my god. Well then, who should I dispose of next in a most embarrassing manner? Maybe Sadako, did you help me set all this up? But that's just getting someone your just desserts in this place of dessert making, though. That's not ironic at all. I won't allow that. Hiya! Oh, hi. Coach! He seems somehow reliable for once. Only once. I, Kyusuke Iri, should not allow any aggression against Sadako-chan. I may also just be a supporting character, but don't think you can persuade me so easily. You want some money? Oh yeah, sure. Oh. Then you're saying you wanted to withdraw from being the lead in documentary Sadako's main training dress-up chapter? We planned on filming after this? Shion-sama. I, Kyusuke Iri, shall follow you to the depths of hell. Okay, bye, Sadako. That was fast. Well then, with this, I'm holding all the cards. Even this after-party scene too. How everything proceed as I see fit. We're missing somebody. Shion-sama? Ryugu-san isn't here. She escaped at some point. Oh boy, she fled the scene. There she is. Ryugu-san, didn't I just tell you shouldn't move? Oh my god, she fell trapped in another one again. Oh my god. She's being held upside down from the rope. Reina-chan, I won't do anything to hurt you, but it's easy if you don't resist. I'm sorry, but all this is really bizarre. What are you trying to do? Miyakase script? I see, you're planning to secure your role before any of your lines get cut, aren't you? Resistance is futile. Reina-san, you should stop your pointless resistance, just come along peacefully. If you make me angry enough, not only will you suffer, but so will my dear sister as well. You can't do anything just by getting your hands in the script. I mean, you can just get him a big black, marker and just, censoring things, white out here, white out there, putting in my own little text script in there with a typewriter. Then everything's all okay, lickety split. No one notice the difference. Okay. You can't do anything just by getting your hands in the script. Reina, I'm sorry, but do what they say. That's alright, don't worry. Now we have the Miyakase script. We can reverse the situation. Reverse the situation? Exactly, what are you scheming? Evil villain laugh. Reina-san, you're pretty good at making me laugh. Then why don't you go ahead and try? Show me how you're gonna turn this around. You're spoiled, Shi-chan. Actually, out of the rest, I think Mi-chan technically is a tiny bit spoiled, but also gives them a lot of that there. Even if you didn't have any appearances in the main scenario, you had so much screen time during this after party. You're spoiled. I would say everyone, the main cast is more spoiled than Shion anyway, so you dial back the sass there. What exactly are you saying I was spoiled? You don't understand, Shi-chan. Even just some after party, you still have an appearance. You also appeared a lot in the previous scenarios. Well, yeah. But so did those victims as well, even though Tomotaki and Mikano just yeah, they weren't even there at all for just one or two. Some of there was that too, so shh. By that logic, you have to chastise them as well. There's somebody who resents you from the depths of hell who can't forgive you. Listen, can you hear it, Shi-chan? That's right. I understand now. I get it. Kei-chan! What? Oh. That's right, he never has any appearances during the after parties. What happened? Where's Akasaka-kan? Where's Akasaka-san? There's no way Kei-chan would allow somebody to monopolize the after parties all to themselves without him. Man, Akasaka he doesn't even have any sprites either. I see. So, how is Kei-chan gonna appear here when he's still at the studio recording lines? It's not as if anyone here will have surpassed his workload. That's just a self-centered way of thinking, Shi-chan. Gah. No! That's the voice word count from Akasaka's part. Chi-sensei, hold Reina-chan back. Oh my god. Huh? Huh? It's too late. What? It's finally your time, Keiichi-kun. Oh, this Akasaka not gonna get it all. Okay. Okay. That voice is... Kei-chan? No way, he's supposed to be recording lines in the studio. You're right, I was until just now. Every time I get left to the studio, I get told you can join the after-party if you beat someone the remaining word count. But I always have 2 to 3 times the script volume with the other characters, making it impossible. I'm actually gonna see your sprites. It's like the sound director doesn't want to let me join the party from the get-go. At least that's what I had thought. But finally, someone overtook me. A certain character. Shion, feast your eyes on this. I actually have an appearance now. Gah? That's right. Now she's appearing in more scenes as the main character. Shion has to speak twice the lines she's had so far. Since Shion and Mion are the same VA cast, that's double again. That's funny. As a result, I have finally been excused from staying back. Meaning, Shion, it's your turn to be left behind. Oh my god, it's funny. No way! I have to speak this much for... Miyakasi? Let's see, Kei-chan is about 500. Oh my god. And Shion has over 2,700? That's like the total of all the characters together in a normal adventure game. Further adding on Mion's lines makes a total of... I don't want to know. So, with that, oh, we're just going to be the black screen ever. We're never going to see your sprites. Okay. Truly the saddest timeline. So with that, Reina, you have my thanks. When even the moon abandons the land and shrouds in true darkness, the demon lord of darkest black, Keiichi Maebara, shall appear. I see. If it's like this, he can appear even if he doesn't have any character art. There's no character or background art, so it's really easy in the production staff. My god. Just black out the entire room anyway. Even you know it's brightly lit outside. Someone pull the blinds down. That's gonna be goddamn funny when I'm Shion basically just talk to complete nothing then. And Keiichi's supposed to be there. Shion, you act like you're the main character in a tragedy, but from my point of view, it's more like a comedy. It seems like you got a little carried away. Every after party, always being last in the studio, missing every after recording meal, witness my anger, my grudge, and all my sorrow. I shall instill it all upon you. It almost seems like Keiichi-kun is doing some sort of bad guy transformation sequence. Look, we already had that enough of the Saturday morning villain thing with the kidnapping thing. I think we reached the quota for one installment. I think we have. Oh, no. This isn't some sort of any normal transformation. I'll have you know I've always been a demon lord. You say that, but you keep dying at the very ending of all of them, so I'm, You're a terrible demon lord, then, if you keep getting betrayed. As of right now, this world, which is enveloped within true darkness, shall dance upon the palm of my hand. Within this world of darkness, there are none who can oppose me. Hey, Shion, can you turn on a lantern, turn the light? Just open the blinds and he'll be vanquished. Keiichi-kun is kind of scary. Scary? The age of the frightening Higurashi has come to an end. I don't believe that in the slightest. From here on out begins the dawn of a perverted and cutesy Higurashi. Okay. What did you say? Maebara-sama. Bring me with you. No. You know it, coach. And as a first step, I'll show our doctor... What? my power. Hua! Huh? What is this? Takano-san is in a mini-skirt nurse outfit. What? That's not some pink one that you find in the gulch. He knows what he's doing. It's a proper pure and innocent white. What is even happening anymore? Even though she's a nurse, she doesn't appear in the outfit even once during the main scenario. You've got to be kidding me. Well then, on to the next target, Hoshi. Reina? Okay, well everyone's dead. Doesn't change the situation at all. It just turned into a different type of crisis. I think it's even worse, technically speaking. I can't do anything in this darkness. Flashlight. Lantern. Lily, just go over to Rika since she's the incarnation of Yoshiro-sama, then just shuck her from the ground, and then she'll light up like a Christmas tree. Obviously, I mean, all gods can light up and glow like besides everyone else, right? They're special. They give off holy light. Obviously. I can't do anything in this darkness. Now then, who should I make wear what next? Maybe a nice school uniform, gym clothes, school swimsuit triple combo. How did it even work? Maebara-sama, you're the best! Oh my god. How about a bunny girl booth babe costume? No, a leotard could be good too. No, wait. How about just about making everybody hyper sexy? No. Of course, these socks on. Okay, oh my god. Okay, no, that's fucking funny. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. No one can be naked unless you have socks on, but still, that's just God. No, that's, oh god. That just made me laugh. That caught me off guard out of everything. Whoa, that's a good idea. Stop. You know your stuff, coach. I feel like we're finally seeing eye to eye here. Wait, Maebara-san. No. Okay. Call me Eri from now on. Call me Dr. Eri. Ari, it's supposed to be, I guess. Okay. You can't forget about us. Wait, what? Oh yeah, you didn't say a single line since the beginning of this after party, so have fun. Tommy and Cloud are already on your side, Kay. Tommy. Cloud. For Final Fantasy. We're all finally here. The Elite Four have arrived. Finally. With Kay at their head, the evil Elite Four have made their grand entrance. With the complete darkness, the Demon Lord of the Darkest Black, Keiichi Maebara, was finally able to reach the surface world. His magical power was without equal. I mean, if we can't see him, then technically speaking, he's not. His power is not without equal, because there's all that. If we can't see him, then he doesn't have any powers still. In this darkness, nobody can stand against him. All must bow. So I said bowl. Will the heroines be unable to escape this darkness and be forced to submit the will of the Demon Lord? Forced to wear embarrassing outfit to embarrassing outfit? Being used as life-size dress-up dolls for all eternity? That just sounds terrible. That's great. More. Oh, by the way, school swimsuits are the classic type, right? Just stop. I won't forgive you if you're the competitive swimming style. I do not want to know what the difference between those are, honestly. Damn it. Shion! Thanks to you, I don't do it like this, so do something about it. It's not her fault. Technically, it's Keiichi's fault, honestly. You're the one who got into this situation, so why you're asking for her help then? Again, she's best character then. It's alright, sis. Kei-chan is the only one who can unleash their true power amid the darkness. Again, Rika, Shika, Holy Light, dispels the Demon Lord. Huh? Do we have such a convenient ally? You're rather impertinent, Shion Sonozaki. Also, if you were expecting help from the principal, that's too bad. This is the ultimate desire, young men. If you call yourself a man, do your best. It's running this nice little authorization slip here. Does the principal even have any say in a movie set? Or a game set, technically, in this case? Of course, you won't be able to rely on the newcomer Akasaka-san either. I want to hear a line or two from him in here. He's been on a private couple's hot spring vacation his wife's family set up for him yesterday. In other words, all the bases are covered. Man, I wish we could see him one final time. Hopefully he appears later on, even like the other after parties, even as a joke. It just sounds good. You're so naive, Kei-chan. Even characters who have art are able to reveal a true form of darkness. Chi-sensei? He starts glowing. That's how it is, Maebara-kun. It's dark, so I can't really tell, but it seems like Chi-sensei's outfit is different. Oh, boy. What are those? All those swords in her hands. What? They couldn't be. The black... Any more than that is a secret. Nepa, Hoshi. Maebara-kun? That was just a little too much mischief on your part. The church can't overlook any more than this. Okay, the church is putting their foot down. What? Wait a minute. This here. There's no way. Right, that's cheating. It's against the rules. What rules? Hey, she can't do this, right? What? Wait, you can't use that big one. Huh? Heroic Dry was startup invisibility? The seventh... Well, there's one death. My god. Oh, I thought that was the end of that, actually. There's an intermission for the after party thing? Oh, God. Oh, no. Hello again. Thank you very much for playing Higurashi when they cry. Himatsu Tsubushi. I think you already know this, but Higurashi when they cry is a type of visual novel without any choices, a Connect novel. Yeah. Therefore, compared to adventure novels with branching routes to take, it's much closer to the experience of a book or a movie. Because of that, there is the opinion out there that this should not be called a game, per se. If you're just watching it like a book or movie, like all y'all watching this video right now, yeah, I don't see you, with these invisible eyes that definitely are not on the screen. If you're just watching like a book or movie, Higurashi When They Cry isn't really a game, true. That's why, as you know, there are a lot of mysteries referenced during the course of the experience. When you challenge those, this work will become a proper game. All the players have the privilege of scrutinizing this mystery-packed story from all sorts of angles. For example, forming a theory about the mysteries during the course of the story. Sharing with your friends and receiving their theories in return could be fun. In any case, the next chapter starts with the answer arcs. We tentatively called it Miyakashi. But answers are a sad thing. Based on what was revealed, all the possibilities that you were allowed to imagine till now will suddenly become refined down to a few. Well, yeah, honestly, it's what is it? Proselytination, yeah. Based on that logic, we think that right here, over the answer arcs, is probably where people can enjoy this work we call Higurashi When They Cry the most. If by any chance, while you're reading this, you already had the Mikasa chapter at hand, please, enjoy hypothesizing, theorizing, and fantasizing to the fullest before you start. That's where the real charm of the series takes place. Well, I've already been doing that for quite a while. I mean, that was the one thing I actually was thinking about. Maybe I was going a bit overboard on. What was it? Like, I think some of the introductions for some of these videos like lasted to 4 or 5 minutes, and then I think some epilogues was like up to 10 minutes to talking. But I tend to do that to a lot of games, whether if I have good or bad things to say about it. Honestly, I think I almost talked 20 minutes straight about one game I hated, going over every detail which I recognized and going back through things to point out things that they could have done better, or it was a terrible idea from the beginning. It's still fun though. Yeah. Sorry for saying something so impudent. There's nothing better we'd like than for you to enjoy Higurashi When They Cry. Well then, have a long and pleasant night. Waiting for you all in Hinamizawa. Hopefully not dead. Come and play with Reina. I'd like to go treasure hunting together. Sorry, there's other people who are a bit more fun to go through. Aw, Hoshi. It makes sense that it ends on you anyway. You're the poster child anyway, at the very least. Yeah, it was actually interesting. And doesn't really add too much besides just, fun and jokes and all of it. And it's just giving the, again, showing the impression, I guess, for, the author to say, this is more of a, it seems like more of a bonus story, a shorter one, the shorter side. But it actually does feel like it's more, canonized and all that. Well, I don't really exactly expect I guess, the other choices that are actually in the other chapters to be, all that really good, since the whole story is all about Fate and Destiny. I'm kind of curious exactly to see if it's literally just oh, you took a step over here instead of staying still. Oh, you get stabbed in the chest, you got shot in the heart, immediate death, fade to black, back to main menu, or just back to the choice. It's probably one of those, but it's if they're just the choice were tacked on. I'll go see how those goes. There is one choice here at the very juncture of the kidnapping, which I figured was going to be the case, about what to do after both kidnappers are cornering Akasaka, and he was shot. The kid is behind him. He has to figure out what to do. Oh, God damn it, hurts. It hurts. If I'd known it would be this painful, I wouldn't have played the tough guy. Biggest miscalculation, though, was the sound of the gunshot was far quieter than I imagined. It's only that loud. Be drowned out by the rain in the forest. Something that somebody far away could hear. And literally, that's actually the most haphazard way to insert a decision, honestly. And like I put on prompt the right choice, so they see exactly what leads into like the rest of the story. I'm pleading for life exactly is what Akasaka said. Like gave him enough time to honestly get him make sure Oishi made a good clear call. This literally is where it happens. Okay, let's see how short this goes. Shit. I can't afford to die in a place like this. I need to survive and return to Yuki's side. For a moment, I catch a glimmer of hesitation in the eyes of the man holding the gun. This guy's unsure about shooting me? So maybe if I jump him at now, I could... Whoa! What? You damn bastard! In a flash, everything before me grows dark, as my consciousness leaves me behind. It was only after my body temperature rapidly came down, and a burning sensation in my chest turned numb, that I realized I had been shot. Yeah, honestly, that was terrible. I actually looked ahead as well to see if there's any other choices. No, that was the only choice in here. Even disregarding the thematics of fate and destiny's entire game, honestly. Yeah, that was actually kind of bad. I can see why people just like said with the inclusion of the random choice. If they're all like this, even their other ones, it's kind of bad. I don't know exactly how the structure of the choices are made for like the beginning, where it leads down to like each individual installment. I don't know how that would be, but yeah, I can honestly agree with that. If another choice thing comes up, I won't go through that. I think I made the right call then. Okay, like halfway through. Like there's no choice leading up to it, and then that appears, and it's only that one choice and nothing else. Yeah, it's kind of bad. But oh boy. Well, it's definitely a lot of things to consider on. Even though this is a short thing, this gives a lot of food for thought. Both in the tips like giving off thematics, which then expands a bit more on Fate and Destiny, which I'm pretty sure by now, even in this channel, even this game, I think I made my thoughts on it probably clear, at least on a personal level. It's definitely fun when interesting to see it be done and showcased inside a story itself. The very second like you put yourself in the character's shoes, or like imagine how it'd be in real life, yeah, that'd be utterly just god infuriating and just angry, and you just feel like there's so much injustice and all that, and like nothing is fair. Then you can't do anything, you have no agency and all that kind of stuff. Seen some stories pull it off, some games pull it off, and movies. But yeah, I've seen it quite a bit of times. Even if I'm not personally sick of seeing it in stories and all that, I feel like I would definitely react very much more hostilely if it ever came to my position in my shoes. Oh boy. I guess all the theorizing as well. Since this is the last one of all the question arcs, and we're going to go to the answer arcs, and from the sound of it, unfortunately only get one exact chapter for Shion's scenario, which, thinking about it now, I guess it kind of makes sense. Like, since Shion lives in Okinomiya, like, you'd have, like, so many different unique ways, I guess, to have Shion, like, be going to Hinamizawa or talking to the characters who live there, since they're kids as well. And there's not a lot of reasons for them to come to Okinomiya besides, just visiting, or just like how Keiichi did technically, if going there accidentally and just with his with his dad, and seeing Shion and mistaking and all that. That's the only thing I can't think of doing that. Maybe there's something about him visiting her sister, and she gets wrapped up in a lot of different things. But after that, she still has to go back and forth from Hinamizawa to Okinomiya. So you might guess there must be a strong hook, or like some drive that Shion gets to I guess try to figure things out in any case, or be part of the events. I'm actually kind of curious to see how the perspective shifts. But I guess this chapter as well, even as a quote unquote bonus side story, kind of gave that sensation as well of like shifting perspective as well. I guess you could say besides the whole like other meta theme, like that's really just the meta theme of this, just shifting perspectives almost. Literally just Akasaka, then we're going back and forth between Oishi, then third person with the kidnapping, going with just seeing what's happening with the kid, and everything like that. And then literally the ending like kind of culminates together with just the main character trying to figuring out Rika's perspective as well, like trying to think of how she reacted in her own perspective and outlook, which all ties in really nicely. Especially as also while the themes of like parenthood and all that actually tie in nicely with those tips and even with Rika's subsequent death. It's still very interesting to like make it be continuing off of the third installment. Very intriguing, very intriguing. But yeah, if I was gonna say of what gets Shion to be involved in something inside Hinamizawa, it can only be something that happens like literally after how Keiichi like mixed Mion and Shion up a bit, not both confused whether they're actual identical twins or not, or literally Shion gets into something happening, or like something involving like maybe something could happen to Mion and Shion like actually goes like help with their I guess their other relatives in Hinamizawa as well actually. Like whether Mion's busy doing one other like keeping up with one shop and she has to handle another one. That honestly could give that excuse as well. Then intermingle things, or something she hears about happen with her own parents with the Yakuza, the Sonozaki family. Then she feels that she must get involved somehow. Especially since she grew attached to like some of the characters, whether like I guess one of her friends is in danger, or her sister is technically in danger, or she hears something wrong is happening with her sister and all that. It could be all of those things. I'll definitely go for more towards maybe she learns something about the sister. Honestly, I think it'd be more geared towards that. But just since obviously there's gonna be a lot of dialogue and scenes between Shion and Mion and their little sibling rivalry. I should be interested to see from my perspective as well. And hopefully, goddamn it, see Keiichi's goddamn sprites, even though literally the after party says he only has like 500 lines, so it's short scenes anyway. Very sad. Very sad. Hopefully, we get to see like just one singular sprite of him. Hopefully, and not I will scour the internet to find exactly someone's mock-up of a goddamn sprite. Whether it's like this art style which I'm holding on now with a console, I guess art style, or I guess another variation. I forget what it's called. The one I think some people mentioned has more is more expressive and all that. I really do want to see it, even if there's no showcase of any of his sprites. It's a running joke both in game and after party until the ending of the answer arcs. Be intriguing to see how it looks like in a sprite set. Just someone just makes a fan made version of it. Really curious to see. But I'm actually really, really excited how Shion goes. She's technically my favorite character, going down to Sadako, the second favorite. And I'm trying to think of who my favorite character would be after that. Like what was that? I guess you could say what was it? I'm trying to think of a pure favorite to that. I guess Reina would be. Then I guess it'll be a tie between Mion and Rika. I would probably need to think about that more. Cause like what was it? It's probably just me, but like Mion definitely is interesting. But like there is some sort of like I don't know how to describe it since like whether it's human or supernatural causes. There's a whole theme of like facades and all that, but I don't quite see. It's definitely probably just me, or maybe just it's probably just the fact that I guess personal taste honestly that I don't think Mion is as interesting or anything like that. I don't see anything to I guess latch onto right now. At least for me, I don't know how to explain it in other words, but like in Rika's case, like she's also just mysterious. But like I've had a lot of fun time with both mysterious characters, but I can't grasp on anything for Rika especially, so that's why she's so low for me. But she's fun. I don't think any of the characters are exactly that bad, except for Coach. I don't trust him. He's definitely going to be playing a more important point later on. The syringe and Lilium, the quote-unquote doctor and director from the first installment, is still have to be answered at some point. And if the story is literally just gonna go slow answer arcs, or whether like delving into maybe exactly showcasing of like what happening around it. Like for example, how by the festival happens in the second installment, we see what the character's doing at the exact time, like almost every single iteration, almost with slight changes. Then somehow or some way, Shion, Keiichi, whoever the main character is in the other answer arcs, they're gonna be at a certain place at a certain time where a character is always doing this, unless something of one small choice that either the main character does really goes a ripple effect and changes that from happening, and they change the plans on a dime. But there's also the whole fact that some things that are happening outside of the town do make a big difference. Like is evident with the third installment with Tepe showing up and almost everything going. Especially since Keiichi could also just be like chosen as well to just get rid of that one issue as well. If like Mion definitely like caught wind of that in his own voice and talking points and all that. But since after Mion and Reina do like go on the whole weird we can't change anything about it, or like Reina was doing anyway. Their scary faces after it all happened. We never see them again. So we don't have anything more to dwell on that idea, honestly. Like literally after that, next we hear of them, they're both dead from the gas, honestly. And that's it. That's all it is. So, it's gonna be one of those things. If I gotta think, I guess, of where I'll go first, I'm gonna assume the syringe is either gonna be literally I guess the final installment's answer, or literally the second to last. And of course, where the culprit is going to be like hinted at, or like starts showing up if they haven't already during, I guess, like the second or very the last one. They'll probably just start appearing in the answer arcs, honestly. That or like show there's some ties with them, coach and all that, or like anyone else who's like gets close to the friend group in any way, whether like third party or just like parents, relatives, siblings, or literally just people they help work with, or just or just around and like acquainted with. That's the just it. Well, that's my 2 cents of exactly where it's gonna go. There must have been some. That's the way how this game wants to be like handled, interpreted as shown at the after party, and I'd be more than willing to oblige. And much more. But I guess we'll see what the answers will unravel for us in the answers arc for next time. So, hope you have a fun time watching this as I am playing this. Hope to see you next time, a time that may be, and I all hope you have a fantastic day.